Supervolcanoes are the new source of energy-critical lithium, Stanford researchers find. This is on New Stanford Education. New source of energy-critical lithium found in supervolcanoes. Stanford researchers show that lake sediments preserved within ancient supervolcanoes can host large lithium-rich clay deposits. A domestic source of lithium would help meet the rising demand for this valuable metal, which is critical for modern technology. This is by Daniel Torrent Tucker. Most of the lithium used to make the lithium-ion batteries that power modern electronics comes from Australia and Chile. But Stanford scientists say there are large deposits and sources right here in America, and they're in the supervolcanoes. In a study published in Nature Communications, scientists detail a new method for locating lithium in supervolcanic lake deposits. The findings represent an important step towards diversifying the supply of this valuable silvery white metal, since lithium is an energy-critical strategic resource. The study co-author Gil Mahud, professor of geological sciences at Stanford's School of Earth and Energy Environmental Sciences, says, quote, "We're going to have to use electric vehicles and large storage batteries to decrease our carbon footprint. It's important to identify lithium resources in the United States so that our supply does not rely on single companies or countries in a way that makes us subject to economic or political manipulation," he says. Supervolcanoes can provide massive eruptions of hundreds to thousands of cubic kilometers of magma, up to 10,000 times more than a typical eruption from a Hawaiian volcano. They also produce vast quantities of pumice and volcanic ash that are spread over wide areas. They appear as huge holes in the ground, known as calderas, rather than the cone-like shape typically associated with volcanoes, because the enormous loss of magma causes the roof of the chamber to collapse following the eruption of the supervolcano. The resulting hole often fills with water to form a lake. Oregon's Crater Lake is a prime example of this. Over tens of thousands of years, rainfall and hot springs leach out lithium from the volcanic deposits. The lithium accumulates along with sediments in the caldera lake, where it becomes concentrated in clay called hectorite. Exploring supervolcanoes for lithium would diversify its global supply. Major lithium deposits are currently mined from brine deposits in high-altitude salt flats in Chile and pegmatite deposits in Australia. The supervolcanoes pose little risk of eruption because they are ancient. Lead author Thomas Benson, recent PhD graduate from Stanford Earth, who began working on the study, says the caldera is the ideal depositional basin for all this lithium. Since its discovery in the 1800s, lithium has largely been used in psychiatric treatments and nuclear weapons. Beginning in the 2000s, lithium became a major component of lithium-ion batteries, which today provide portable power for everything from cell phones and laptops to electric cars. Volvo Cars recently announced its commitment to only produce new models of its vehicles as hybrids or battery-powered options beginning in 2019, a sign that demand for lithium-ion batteries will continue to increase. Benson said, "We've had a gold rush, so we know how, why, and where gold occurs, but we never had a lithium rush. The demand for lithium has outpaced the scientific understanding of the resource, so it's essential for the fundamental science behind these resources to catch up." Working backwards, to identify which supervolcanoes offer the best sources of lithium, researchers measured the original concentration of lithium in the magma. Because lithium is a volatile element that easily shifts from solid to liquid to a vapor, it's very difficult to measure directly, and original concentrations are poorly known. So the researchers analyzed tiny bits of magma trapped in crystals during growth within the magma chamber. These melt inclusions, completely encapsulated within the crystals, survive the supereruption and remain intact throughout the weathering process. As such, melt inclusions record the original concentrations of lithium and other elements in the magma. Researchers slice through the host crystals to expose these preserved magma blebs, which are 10 to 100 microns in diameter. Then they analyze them with a sensitive high-resolution ion microprobe with the Shrimp RG laboratory at Stanford, Earth. Benson said, understanding how lithium is transported in magmas and what causes a volcanic center to become enriched in lithium has never really systematically been done before. The team analyzed samples from a range of tectonic settings, including the Kings Valley deposit in the McDermott volcanic field located in the Nevada-Oregon border. In the video before this one, you'll notice we talked about the Nevada-Utah supervolcanoes. And that's where we've been seeing various quake swarms recently. An uptick of quakes there. And in Utah, southwest Utah, towards the Nevada, well, that is exactly ancient supervolcanoes. 20 of them that have been found. We've had recent quake swarms. And some of them have been linked to the exact same time that we've had quakes in the supervolcano of Yellowstone. And we're saying, well, how is it possible that the Utah quake is connected to the Yellowstone quake, which happened like 2-3 minutes difference? Very strange things going on. But anyway, so yes, the huge field of volcanic field of the lithium-filled Nevada-Oregon border erupted 16.5 to 15.5 million years ago and is known to be rich in lithium. They compared results in the volcanic center with samples from the high rock caldera complex in Nevada, Sierra La Primavera in Mexico, Patelleria in the Strait of Sicily in Italy, Yellowstone in Wyoming, and Hideaway Park in Colorado, and determined that lithium concentrations varied widely as a function of the tectonic setting of the supervolcano. They said if you have a lot of magma erupting, it doesn't have to have as much lithium in it to produce something that is worthy of economic interest as we previously thought. You don't need extraordinarily high concentrations of lithium in the magma to form lithium deposits and reserves. Improving identification. In addition to exploring for lithium, the researchers analyzed other trace elements to determine their correlation with lithium concentrations, and as a result, they discovered a previously unknown correlation that will now enable geologists to identify candidate supervolcanoes for lithium deposits in a much easier way than measuring lithium directly in melt inclusions. The trace elements can be used as a proxy for original lithium concentration. For example, greater abundance of easily analyzed rubidium in the bulk deposits indicates more lithium, whereas high concentrations of zirconium indicates less lithium. Benson said we can essentially use the zirconium content to determine the lithium content within about 100 parts per million. Now that we have a way to easily find more of these lithium deposits, it shows that this fundamental geologic work can help us solve societal problems. That's really exciting. So now the co-authors of the paper, lithium enrichment in intercontinental rhyolite magmas leads to lithium deposits in caldera basins, include Matthew Coble, research and development scientist and engineer at Stanford University, and James Rituba of the U.S. Geological Survey. The research was partially supported by the U.S. Department of Defense and the SEG Fellowship. This is on New Stanford Ed. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.